but something feels like it's almost the singularity, as they say, where
Hmm.
World War III could break out, the U.S. dollar could tank, we could merge with AI. I am in my heart. I feel very optimistic, but it just feels like we're in this time period, where it's almost impossible to predict like what's going to happen. Do
Hmm.
you feel the same? And yeah, like where do you think we are in history? In terms of our species, 'cause it feels unprecedented, but
Yeah, well, we're definitely at a fork in the road. We're definitely in a fork in the road because our let's see there. Okay, so there's a number of extra system factors that are coming in that are beyond our control, that are beyond the control of the Black Ops secret government, that are beyond the control probably even of alien factions. Okay, and I'm talking about cyclical global cataclysms, things to do with the sun, with the center of the galaxy, with certain energy waves that sweep through the galaxy that hit Earth, comet cycles and so on. Um, if any of that stuff were to happen within our lifetime or even within the next century, well, these beings, they are precognitive and they're very smart and they have a lot of data, so they would know that something is coming up that would just utterly transform human civilization in a very cataclysmic way. All right, they'd be aware of it. The secret government would also be aware of it because they're also very smart and they have data that we don't have access to. So they would also know. So then, isn't any surprise that a lot of these governments and secret government stuff, they've been doing nothing but building underground cities and bases probably since the early 1900s, knowing that within a century or within 2 centuries, something really bad was going to happen, right? So we have to keep in mind that a lot of what's been happening since that time period, especially since the 60s, seems to have been geared towards a coming time period where civilization as we know it will not exist in the form
yeah,
that we know it, right? Now, it's not an extinction level event where everything that we're doing now is completely pointless because they're not acting like that. They're not acting like everything is pointless. They're acting as if there's going to be major disruptions and an opportunity to transform or rework Earth and humanity and civilization. So so and I think COVID, the lockdowns and so on, they were a very small, tiny, tiny, tiny preview
yeah,
of that, of
yeah,
their mentality, because they manufactured a crisis and they used it to try to do social engineering. They try to use it to accomplish as well everything that we've seen,
yeah,
and they're still trying to push it. But but here's the thing. What have we also seen? We've also seen that there has been a counter movement to that.
yeah,
So it didn't go exactly how they planned. There has been counter movement to it, and it's actually served to catalyze and awaken a large number of people in the population. See, so that's the thing that we can't account for when we talk about these doom trends, is that when we talk about doom trends, we're looking at data that is obvious to us that, I mean, the writing is on the wall for a lot of it, right? Because the data exists right now. We can see that the US dollar is headed for collapse, for example. We can see that. We can see that World War III it's already happening, but it hasn't gone fully hot yet, but it very well could. So we see that, but what we don't see is the synchronistic latent spiritual potential within humanity to counter that each step of the way. Because none of that is evident. There's no like plan that's out in the statistical figures. There's no like white papers and government documents being put out there that show that, oh yeah, in 2 years there's going to be someone that comes up with this idea or this spiritual movement or whatever that's going to counter that. Those things just happen spontaneously as we go because it's being directed by something by higher intelligence that is beyond linear time, beyond physical matter. And so therefore it's always going to be surprising. It's kind of like in some of the parables of Jesus when he talks about the kingdom of heaven and what the kingdom of heaven is like like the grain of a mustard seed, or there's a lot of element to it that indicates butterfly effect or
mm,
synchronistic power, divine orchestration at just the right moments in order to shift the odds in the favor of a positive outcome. So, as much as the doom is obvious, we can't say that that's the only thing, and that's probably why you might be feeling optimistic without knowing why.